during this tragic time. There's also a great deal of uncertainty as this pandemic unfolds. Not only are we experiencing a massive interruption that will likely change how we live for a very long time, but it's hard to predict what will happen next or how extensive this pandemic will be. That said, I believe that this pandemic is a unique challenge that will pass in due time. Here at the City of Kenmore, our future remains very bright, especially if we continue to work together as we always have done to get through this emergency. By following the CDC recommendation and the governor's directives, and by doing what we can to help one another as a community, we are going to get through this just fine. But in the meantime, it's going to take a lot of sacrifice, inconvenience, and just plain hunkering down to do our part to help the Kenmore community and the regions as a whole. But in the meantime, it's going to take a lot of sacrifice, inconvenience,
Someone's
and just
maybe
plain
listening.
hunkering down to do our part to help the Kenmore community and the regions as a whole.
Somebody just needs to mute their phone.
Somebody's watching on the live.
Somebody needs to mute. Tell them to mute.
Somebody needs to mute their phone, please.
Yeah, somebody's streaming.
They need to mute their streaming.
Yeah, if you could please mute your phone.
And computer.
Everybody needs to mute until you're called on. Clear, we need to show the spread of this virus, and we need to slow the spread of this virus as much as possible so that we can smooth out the spike and reduce the pressure on our healthcare system. Doing so will save lives. Special care and consideration need to be given to the at-risk population affected by this virus, including the elderly and those with underlying health conditions. If you are in one of the risk categories, please stay home and away from other people. For those of you who are younger or believe your reaction to COVID-19 would be mild, please know that you too have a key role in saving lives and slowing the spread of this virus. As Governor Inslee has said in his most recent announcements, for the younger and healthy adults, please understand your actions have consequences beyond your personal health. Although your personal health risk may be low, if you don't stay away from others, more people in our community will be infected. This may result in the overload of the healthcare system, making it hard for friends and family members and others who are vulnerable for serious illness getting the care they need when they need it. I'm fortunate to have great colleagues here on the City Council who have ratified the City Manager's emergency proclamations and are providing our organization the resources to continue providing essential services, assisting our most vulnerable populations, doing our part to help slow the spread and keeping our city employees safe. Speaking of city employees, we are blessed with great staff who are staying on top of this issue and are continuing to provide excellent service to our community. At this time, I would like to turn some of the time over to our city manager for a staff status report on the pandemic emergency.
Your Honor, would it be okay if I gave that status report
Yes, please.
under staff report a little bit later in the meeting?
Certainly.
Okay.
So, Kenmore City Council is now in session. Will the clerk please call the roll?
Councilmember File.
Yes.
Councilmember Curtis.
Remote.
Councilmember Marshall.
Present by phone.
Councilmember Srebnick.
Present by phone.
Mayor Baker.
Here.
Deputy Mayor Herbig.
Here.
Councilmember O'Kane.
Present by phone.
Okay. For those of you in the council chambers, will you please rise and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right. Next item on the agenda is the approval of the agenda. If there are no objections, the agenda will stand approved as published.
Your Honor,
I need to get to one thing here.
yeah, can I mention something about the agenda?
Yes, please.
Okay, just today we added one new item to the consent agenda, and that's an item relating to right-of-way landscape maintenance. Being that today is a regular meeting, it's okay for us to add an item to the agenda like this, but I just wanted that to be clear that that's item I on the consent agenda that was added today.
Thank you. All right, next item on the agenda is citizen comments. This is an opportunity for you to express your views on issues that are important to you and to the community. And we ask that you limit your comments to 3 minutes. Is there anybody wishing to speak?
There's nobody signed up, Mayor.
Hearing none, the citizen comments portion is closed. All right, so, council member attendance by speakerphone or video is limited to 3 times in a calendar year. But the council by majority of vote may allow additional attendance by speakerphone or video. At least 24 hours before the starting time of a meeting, the council member must advise the city clerk of the desire to attend via speakerphone or video. To allow time for preparation of the speakerphone or video components of the agenda, items to be attended by speakerphone or video. The council member attending via speakerphone must also be able to hear all speakers in the meeting room, and all persons in the meeting room must be able to hear the council member. The video and audio components of video conferencing should be visible and audible to all persons in the meeting room. My understanding is those attending tonight are going to be attending for the whole meeting. So, Councilmember O'Kane is attending via speakerphone and video for the entire meeting. Councilmember O'Kane, can you see and hear me?
Yes, I can. Thank you.
Can the city council clerk see and hear the council member?
Yes.
Councilmember Marshall is attending by speakerphone and video for the entire meeting. Councilmember Marshall, can you see and hear me?
I can hear you. Can't see it, but I'm not on the video.
All right. Can the city clerk see and hear the council member?
I can't see, but I can hear. I can hear them on the phone.
Can hear.
Yes.
Councilmember Curtis is attending via speakerphone and video for the entire meeting. Councilmember Curtis, can you see and hear me?
Sound is good. I have no video.
Can the city clerk hear Councilmember Curtis?
I can hear.
Councilmember Shrubnik is attending by speakerphone and video for the entire meeting. Councilmember Shrubnik, can you see and hear me?
I can hear you. I am not on the video.
Can the city clerk hear the Councilmember Shrubnik?
Yes.
All right. So, first item on the agenda is consent agenda. We'll just go through the list. Councilmember O'Kane, do you have any questions?
No questions.
Councilmember Marshall, do you have any questions?
No questions.
Councilmember Curtis, do you have any questions?
No questions.
Councilmember Shrubnik, do you have any questions?
No questions.
Councilmember File, any questions?
No questions.
Deputy Mayor, any questions?
Nope.
Chair will entertain a motion to approve the consent agenda.
So moved.
Seconded.
Moved and seconded. We'll do this by voice vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
Opposed? Consent agenda stands approved unanimously. Next item on the agenda is, make sure things haven't been changed here.
And I apologize, I can now see, this Councilmember Marshall, I can now see the city council streaming on the YouTube.
Wonderful. First item on the agenda is contract for right-of-way landscape maintenance services. City manager.
Actually, Mayor, that was part of the consent agenda.
That was part of the
So
consent?
we're on business agenda A.
Okay, fine. Item on the agenda is proclamation issuance of an emergency rule, temporary moratorium on residential tenant eviction.
Thank you, Your Honor, and members of the City Council. Yes, in front of you is a proclamation and an issuance of an emergency rule that would put a moratorium, a temporary moratorium, on residential tenant evictions. Given what's going on with the pandemic emergency and its impact on the economy. and with
Mr. Mayor, this is
clear.
Councilmember Srebnick. We can't hear the city manager.
You can't what?
Can't hear the city manager.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, please speak into the microphone more directly.
Right.
This is Councilmember O'Kane. Thank you.
No, you go here, right there.
However you want to do it.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay.
Much better.
Trying to do some social distancing and also give my presentation. And speak into this microphone. So in front of you is a proclamation and issuance of an emergency rule that would put a temporary moratorium on residential tenant evictions in the city of Kenmore through April 24th, 2020, with the ability to extend. The reason for this is laid out quite well in all of the whereases in the proclamation. So findings and conclusions relating to this are quite well thought out and established as the reasons why we are moving forward with this. Chief among which is the pandemic's impact on the economy and the loss of hundreds, if not thousands, of jobs here in this area, and the increased hardship that it's going to put on people to meet their financial obligations. So just today I passed this proclamation and emergency rule. I signed it under the authority you gave me under emergency powers at the last council meeting, and I'm asking you to ratify this action. This action not only puts a moratorium on evictions, but it also prevents the accumulation of late fees during this period. Are there any questions?
I have a question.
Let's go down the line. If you mind holding that for a second? Councilmember Curtis?
Oh,
Councilmember O'Kane, any questions?
No questions at this time, Mayor. Thank you.
Well, I'd like to try to get them out of the way as we go. Councilmember Marshall, any questions?
No questions.
Councilmember Curtis, please.
so my question is, since we have a business registration, do we have a list of rental property owners that would be affected by this? And so definitely I'm in favor of the proclamation and this action. But if I'm thinking if we could contact those people who are going to be most affected, which would be people owning rental properties, and just maybe send them a nice letter from the city saying, thanks for understanding and contributing during this hard time for all of us.
Yes, that's our plan.
Perfect.
Councilmember Srebnick, any questions?
I think I'm finding what I need here. So this is going to expire April 24, and it can be extended. And so that would be extended just simply on your judgment of the public health necessity, sort of like it was initially proposed. And then we have to like re-ratify, or I'm just not quite sure on the process.
No, this, your action tonight gives me authority to extend it. I would go through a similar process of issuing findings and working closely with the city attorney before I took such an action. But yeah, I would, under this, have the authority to extend it.
Councilmember File.
Just one question. I want to make sure, are fines and fees the same legally defined, or are they different? And do we need to possibly include, besides fees, fines in the language? That's all.
I think that's an administrative interpretation I can make if it comes up.
Okay, that sounds great. I can adopt it as amended then.
Deputy Mayor.
No questions. I just want to thank the city manager for bringing this to us. It's timely, and I think it's important right now, so I appreciate that.
Yeah, I'd like to thank our city attorney for working so hard to get this written so quickly. It's a very well thought out, high quality document. She was looking for other cities that have done this in the area, and she hasn't yet, other than City of Seattle, which just handed down a similar proclamation just yesterday. So we'd be one of the first cities to do such a thing.
Just a clarification. All fines and fees that have been accumulated to this effect remain in effect. Any rents that are due are still due, including the rent for the time from now until this ends. But new fines and fees will not be accumulating from today forward. Is that correct?
Correct. This doesn't get people out of paying their rent eventually.
Okay. Councilmember O'Kane, any questions?
No questions.
Councilmember Marshall, any questions?
No questions.
Councilmember Curtis, any questions?
No questions.
Councilmember Srebnick, any questions?
No.
Councilmember File, any questions?
No.
Deputy Mayor, any questions?
No, thank you.
All right, the chair will entertain a motion to ratify the proclamation and issuance of emergency rule, temporary moratorium on residential tenant evictions. Is there a motion?
So moved?
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any further discussion? Hearing none, the clerk please take the roll.
Councilmember Srebnick,
Yes.
Mayor Baker,
Yes.
Councilmember O'Kane,
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Herbig,
Yes.
Councilmember Marshall,
Yes.
Councilmember Curtis,
Yes.
Councilmember File.
Yes.
The motion passes unanimously. All right. Next item on the agenda is COVID-19 situation report. Mr. Carlinzy.
Thank you, Your Honor. Before giving a COVID-19 report, we're probably not going to have a city council meeting on April 6th as we thought. We were going to have a parliamentary procedure training for you on April 6th. At this point, I'm proposing that we not have that meeting. And so if there are no objections, we'll go forward with that. We will need to occasionally meet. Can you guys hear me okay? We will need to.
This is Councilmember Srebnick. I just had a question about that. I don't. Is there any way that she could do an online, at least for the new council members?
Sorry, I think Anne has one on the schedule she's been offering people. I don't remember the exact date, but I've seen her advertising it on Facebook as a thing people could jump into if they wanted to.
I did talk to her today, and she is able to do it virtually if we want to.
I think it's better if we do it in person. I think we all get more out of it, but I'm certainly open.
Yeah, we can certainly keep it for April 6th and do it virtually. But I'm hearing the mayor no.
Councilmember File.
Yes, I would actually like to move that we do meet on April 6th and attend this meeting virtually for all members of our council.
Is there a second?
I was not able to hear that.
Councilmember File made a motion to meet virtually on the 6th and have this meeting with Jurassic Parliament.
I would support that if we can do it with video, like actually have it be either a Skype meeting or a Zoom or a GoToMeeting, something like that, where there actually is, we can see each other and interact a little bit.
Yeah, that's what I'm concerned with, is the social interaction that goes along with it.
Right.
I have another comment.
Yes, Councilmember Curtis.
So nobody really knows the future, but this coronavirus is one of the respiratory type of viruses that's typically worse in the winter and tends to get better in the summer. So my expectation is by June, things would be better. And I'm just inclined to cancel for a couple months and try to reschedule it in June.
I am too. First, I think the in-person, I would prefer in-person, but I can see benefit to doing a Zoom or some form of Skype if that's talking to the council, but I prefer an in-person meeting.
Deputy Mayor.
Yeah, as somebody who sat through Ms. McFarland's training a couple of times, I think there is something for it in person, because there is some like small group work that isn't going to be able to be done very well, I think, on a Zoom meeting personally.
Right.
So.
Right.
Mayor, we had a motion from Councilmember File. Do we have a second?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't think we've had a second yet.
Yeah, I said, we moved in second, it's still in
Okay, fine.
discussion.
Shrevenick, second.
Okay.
I just have a request, Deputy Mayor Herbig. Your microphone's not coming through very clear, and same with Councilmember File.
Yeah, we're a little further away from some of the speakers on the speakerphone than other folks are. Sorry.
Okay.
All right, any further discussion? Councilmember O'Kane.
No further discussion.
Councilmember Marshall.
No.
Councilmember Curtis.
No questions or comments.
Councilmember Shrevenick.
No other questions or comments?
Councilmember File.
No other questions.
Deputy Mayor.
Nope.
All right, we have a motion and a second. Clerk, please take the roll.
Just to be clear, the motion on the table is to hold the meeting on April 6th virtually.
Right.
Okay,
Motion is to hold the meeting on the 6th virtually.
Councilmember Marshall,
Yes.
Councilmember Curtis,
No.
Councilmember File,
Yes.
Councilmember Shrevenick,
Yes.
Mayor Baker,
No.
Deputy Mayor Herbig,
No.
Councilmember O'Kane,
No.
failed.
Fail 4-3. All right, so we will schedule the meeting with Ann McFarland for a date as this calms down. All right.
Okay. All right. Can everybody hear me? All right, I would like to read into the record a report on COVID-19 update. Before providing an update on city operations, I would like to provide some background information on the situation in general. King County Public Health continues to be the lead local agency for the management of this issue and will continue to look to public health for guidance, direction, and measures to contain the virus and promote public safety. The Washington State Department of Public Health is the lead agency for the state's response to COVID-19. King County Public Health and Washington Department of Health work closely on coordinating and communicating about the response in King County, including Kenmore. For this ongoing situation, we have the following three main objectives for the City of Kenmore organization. Keep essential city operations up and running while making city employee safety the top priority. Provide resources, including our communication channels, to support public health in slowing the spread of the virus. And lastly, provide accurate and timely information about the pandemic and its effect on city operations to the public and city employees. So we continue to monitor this situation closely. I've been meeting with the management team pretty much every day since February. Our direction on city operations can change depending on a variety of factors, including direction from the state and county public health, staffing limitations, and whether we're in proximity to a confirmed COVID-19 case or quarantine situation. Starting today, City Hall is closed to the public. Visitors may enter City Hall by appointment only and will need to certify that they are free of COVID-19 symptoms upon arrival. The public may still conduct business with the city, but it will mostly be by telephone and online methods. Our receptionists continue to answer the city's main phone line. City staff who are in the risk categories or need to be home because of the school closures are able to work from home or take sick leave. I also have given staff who live with an at-risk person, healthcare worker, or first responder this same option to work from home or take sick leave. As a result, we are at limited staffing. Our organization is small to begin with, so maintaining pre-pandemic levels of service has been challenging. So far, we have canceled room rentals and indoor recreation activities. We have also limited a lot of interactions with the public down to electronic means. Our inspectors continue to provide building and right-of-way inspections to contractors, although with additional safety precautions and technological assistance. Our maintenance workers continue to maintain our city infrastructure, again, with precautions. The Kenmore Senior Center is also closed, and of this morning, we have closed the public portion of the hangar community building. Diva Espresso, the coffee shop in the hangar, is complying with the governor's orders and is open for takeout service only. Back to the topic of staffing. If the pandemic continues to ramp up, if we see infections closer to home, and if we receive additional state and county directives, we may need to reduce city services even further, direct additional staff to stay home, and focus on essential city services. We're not quite there yet, but we do have a continuity of operations plan in place with different levels of activation and corresponding city service levels to guide us as this pandemic develops. Employee safety while maintaining essential city services continues to be our top objective, and we need to be continuously assessing workplace exposure risk. We are following social distancing guidelines with each other, and we are using technology such as video conferencing to reduce contact. We are directing our coworkers to keep us appraised of what they're experiencing in the workplace and to keep us informed of any direct or indirect contact they may have with a confirmed coronavirus case. Now for a brief discussion of what we're doing with neighboring partners. The North Shore Emergency Management Coalition has been a great resource through all of this, and we have met as the NEMCO leadership group weekly for the past several weeks. This NEMCO team coordinates directly with King County Department of Emergency Management, and we continue to assess if or when it will be appropriate to activate our Joint Emergency Operations Center. Again, we have not decided to go that route yet, but we're continuously keeping that option open. On the human services front, our city clerk, Kelly Chellen, has done a great job reaching out to different human services agencies to see what needs they have. A lot of them say that they believe they will be having needs in the future and to stay tuned. Some have said, yes, we need some help now, including Mary's Place. And under this authority I have under the emergency proclamation, I've increased our contribution to Mary's Place by $5,000 to accommodate some of the emergency needs that they have at this time.
Hear, hear.
We're also reaching out to the business community, and Nancy Owsley, our assistant city manager, has been in contact with several of our employers and businesses, and she's also working on a resource packet that should be produced soon that can go out to our businesses. We're also holding a meeting, a virtual meeting, this Wednesday morning at 8:30 for all businesses who want to participate, to give them an update on the situation, what the city's doing, and to hear from them what their needs and concerns and questions are. Last but not least, thank you, and hang in there. We're going to get through this. I continue to be blown away by my coworkers. Their work ethic, positive attitude, and spirit of cooperation through all of this is unmatched. The management team has provided excellent counsel to me, and our decisions are well thought out because of it. I want our residents to know that we are here to serve them no matter what. Regardless of what happens, we will be there to provide essential services. Thank you to the City Council for your vision, leadership, and support. And I would like to publicly express my appreciation for all of my coworkers who are doing to provide much-needed city services while caring for their families through this pandemic. I know that this pandemic is wearing on all of us, and as the mayor said, there's a lot of uncertainty to all of it. It's going to take up a lot of time, and it's going to be diverting us from our work plans and daily duties. But I still have great confidence that all of us are going to get through this just fine, and we'll also be able to continue to provide important and essential services to the Kenmore community while all of this is happening. Before we know it, this will all be in our rearview mirror, and we'll never forget it. And we'll have a bond between us knowing that we all got through it as a team. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Carlinsy. Council member comments, reports, initiatives. Councilmember O'Kane.
Nothing today, thank you. I do want to thank our city manager and city staff for their great work throughout this, and thank you.
Councilmember Marshall.
Well, I want to thank the city manager for strong and encouraging words and actions, and I trust that everyone is doing their utmost, and I know they are. We can get through this, as the city manager said. It's imperative that we work together. I know we will. Our greatest strength is local with each other. I couldn't think of a better place to be in this situation. Thank you.
Councilmember Curtis.
Nothing to add?
Councilmember Shrebnick.
Well, I also want to thank city manager and all the staff for their incredible work. I mean, there's been, for example, some just, a lot of back and forth on the one thing I'm working directly with staff on, the census work, and just, a lot of flexibility and creativity on that one piece that I have a window into. So I know they're working hard on so many fronts. A couple of things. One, actually a number of weeks ago now, I attended my first Growth Management Planning Council meeting. It wasn't a lot of substance to it, but just thought I would let folks know, since I'm new to that. It meets quarterly, and of course all meetings like that are suspended for a while. And then the other question that I had relates to something that the mayor said at the very beginning of this meeting, and that is it sounded like it was limited to 3 virtual meeting attendances by city council members, and I'm wondering whether we might need to revisit that. So that's something when we're done.
I agree with you, Councilmember Shrebnick, and I was going to bring that up. Councilmember File.
Thank you, Mayor Baker. I've been attending a number of meetings via a phone conference on our COVID-19, our outbreak of coronavirus here in Washington State. and the White House conference call. They're very informative. It's good to have a sense of what's coming in the hours ahead and the days ahead. And I want to especially thank our city management and our staff here at Kenmore City Hall for putting together such a good packet today and protecting our community, our vulnerable community at this time. And if now more than ever, for our citizens of Kenmore, if we can reach out and support each other and help a neighbor, now that is needed more than ever. And in a community that's founded on kindness, I believe that we have it in us and with the wherewithal to do so. Thank you.
Deputy Mayor.
Not a whole lot to add. My colleagues have already said everything I've been thinking. I appreciate the work that Rob and staff have put in the last couple of weeks, and we're in good hands, and we'll get through this.
Yes, we will. The last week, I was in Washington, D.C. and visited with our delegation, with our two senators' staff, and with Congresswoman Del Benny's staff, and then another meeting with the Congresswoman herself. They're a tremendous group of people that are doing a really great job now during this stressful time and the pandemic. I have nothing but compliments for our legislative team. They are doing a superb job. But I think we really need to have special care and consideration to the at-risk population affected by this virus, including the elderly and those with underlying health conditions. And if you are one of those at-risk categories, please stay home, stay away from other people. Also, with the new proclamations that have been made by the governor and the county executive today and last night, our small businesses, our restaurants, our bars are going to be devastated. Most of them are living on very small margins with very small amounts of profit. The employees that were sent home without income are really going to face some tough times. The businesses are trying to do what they can by providing drive-through food. I don't believe there's any drive-through beer or drinks, but the food is important. And I think we really need to, if at all possible, while protecting ourselves, try to support these businesses as best we can. If we have the opportunity to get a hamburger, if we have an opportunity to go pick up a dinner through a drive-through, I really think we need to take the effort to do this because of the hardship that these businesses are going to be feeling. A lot of them are not going to survive. And I hope we consider that, and we hope we all do our part. Now, council members, O'Kane, Marshall, Curtis, and Shrebnick are attending by phone. We are now going to adjourn the meeting unless there's any business to come in front of us. And if not,
Did we want to revisit the
You're right.
issue of
Yes.
attendance?
Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you.
okay.
I think that we maybe should have modified the 3 rules to add except in emergency conditions, so we can have an unlimited number if necessary.
Yeah, next
Second.
time you meet, we're happy to
Yeah.
bring that to you.
Okay, so that will be brought to us at our next meeting. Okay, if there's no further business to come in front of us,
Actually,
Councilmember File.
yes. Well, I think that's a good idea. I think we better define that well, because we wouldn't want it to be abused or taken advantage of.
Okay, if there's no further business to come in front of us, your attendance by speakerphone and video has been greatly appreciated, and the remote connection will now be terminated, and we are adjourned.